Hi YouTubers, this is a video response to VenomFangX's video, Proof God is Real. Let's first of all watch the basis of his argument.
If I promised to give you a chocolate bar after an infinite amount of time, would I ever give you the chocolate bar? No, I don't think I would, because when would we be able to say, okay, an infinite amount of time has passed, pay up the chocolate bar? Wouldn't happen. So my next question would be, could there have been an infinite amount of time before right now?
Okay, so Sean's concluded you can't have an infinite amount of time between two events. Let's call these events Event A and Event B. In his example, his Event A is now, and Event B is getting the chocolate bar, and he's saying you can't have an infinite amount of time between these two events. But then he tries to use this as an argument for not having an infinite amount of time before now. What are his two events that he's comparing? It's obvious his Event B is the now, but what's his Event A? If his Event A is the start of the universe, but the whole point of the argument is that if there's an infinite amount of time before now, there is no start. So there he's only comparing one event. You can't use this sort of direct comparison between the two things. Okay, so we can conclude Sean has no real argument for not having an infinite amount of time before now. Unfortunately, most of the rest of his argument rests on his first assumption. But there's a couple of other inconsistencies I'd like to pick up on.
Scientists say matter can't be created or destroyed. They've tried, I imagine. They've split an atom, but they can't destroy matter.
Correct, we can't destroy or create matter, but we can convert it to energy, hence Einstein's famous formula. So who says energy couldn't have existed before time?
What we do know about whatever it is that we don't know is that it was immensely powerful. I mean, there's lots of energy in this world, and it had to come from whatever created it, so immensely powerful.
You're onto something there, Sean, yes, but you don't need to invent God to explain that.
Yeah, there's no way to argue this. There's nothing else, there's nowhere else to go. I got you cornered.
Okay, so let's just think for a second, Sean. Your argument is because you can't explain how the universe started, therefore God must exist. Not exactly a very watertight argument when you think about it, though, really, is it? Now, I don't know how the universe totally works either. I don't understand all the intricacies and beauty in it, and how it started. But that doesn't mean that you need to invent a God to do that. I'm quite happy just not knowing at the moment. Science has not got that far yet. The actual problem in all of this is the idea of linear time. It doesn't take time for now to be reached any more than it takes distance for here to be reached. The problem is we think of time in the passage of time as some sort of marker of now that moves from the beginning through to the end. But this is a totally incoherent view. Look at the following graph for an example. Okay, so this is a distance time graph. Say if we consider a ball, at each moment in time we're recording the distance the ball is away from a set point. This means the ball is moving through space a long time. Okay, so if we have linear time, we have this idea of the present moment. Let's try and draw another graph. So for every interval of time, we try and plot on the graph the movement of this present moment. But what's this present moment moving through? The ball was moving through space. I mean, you may argue that the present moment is moving through time, but that's incorrect because it's moving a long time. That's what we're plotting our graph on our bottom axis. What are we going to plot this present moment moving through? We now have to invent some sort of meta time for the present moment to move through. The problem is this results in an infinite regress, because if meta time is also a truly temporal dimension, then it needs something to move through, and we end up with an infinite number of temporal dimensions. The only way to get around this absurd paradox is the conclusion that the idea of a present marker is totally false, and that the now is not actually moving at all. All times are on equal footing, just like distances are. Why should now be any more of a privileged time or one true present, any more than here is a privileged location or one true place? As a final question to Sean, I'd like to ask him what it would take for him to stop believing in God. I know for me, if you could provide me with irrefutable scientific proof that could be tested that God existed and that He worked in daily life, then I'd probably believe in God. But until you provide me with that proof, I'm just going to act as a moral, sane individual. I hope that I've shown that VenomFangX's proof of God actually falls down at the first premise, but I welcome a video response from him, and I'll see you all soon.